Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast and to the latest instalment, the first instalment in 2025 of this season's Loan Watch, a series taking a weekly look at the Chelsea youngsters across the globe. And of course, this week we coincide with the opening of the January transfer window and news that Chelsea will be cutting short a couple of the loan spells this season. So that is where we will start. We will also be focusing a little bit potentially on transfer business, a couple of rumours floating around the transfer rumour mill at the moment. We will be getting more into that with live transfer episodes, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But let's get straight into it with Aaron Anselmino. The news broke earlier this week from Fabrizio Romano that Chelsea would be cutting the loan from Boca Juniors short and he would be joining up with the squad in December. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Brazilian league or the South American league, I think he's from Argentina maybe, the South American league finishes November, December, starts again January, February, I do believe. So, correct me if I'm mistaken, but ties in nicely with the end of his campaign. Obviously, Chelsea centre-back is an area of very, very strict focus from fans, from rivals, from pundits. I mean, the defence has been probably the most inconsistent aspect of Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. And while we have sold a lot of our Chelsea fans in, the attacking play, the attackers, Nicholas Jackson's, turned a few heads from no to yes, a few people have jumped over the fence. The jury is still very much out on the defence at the moment and, of course, not helped by this injury, this long-term injury for Wes Fofana, opening up a slot on the other side of the centre-half. But, Levi Colwill has struggled to kind of strike up an immediate relationship with Tosin, Disasi, Badiashile. All three of those look to still be kind of floating in and around. They haven't tied themselves down. They haven't found a specific position or favoured position under Enzo Maresca. We've seen that he likes to use Axel Disasi at right back rather than centre back. Whether that's because we have other centre backs that are more inclined to play there, I'm not sure. But the focus this transfer window for me is 100% on the central defensive area. And Aaron Anselmino, while he is a fantastic player, I'm going to go out I'm just going to start off by singing his praises. I love a centre-back signing. As soon as I hear about a centre-back signing Chelsea are making, I go and do my research. I do my due diligence. Aaron Anselmino looks like a fantastic, aggressive, quick, physical, ball-playing centre-back. We all know what the mould of a South American centre-back is. Aggressive in the tackle, very, very strong, good in the air, but more often than not, very, very good on the ball, very adept at passing out from the back, which is what this Chelsea side is still trying to instill. We are, whether you like it or not, we are still laying the groundwork for this new style of play. There are players in there that may not be here for the long term. Robert Sanchez, I feel, is a player that if you are looking to play out from the back, you cannot rely on Robert Sanchez. Similarly, you can't be relying on young players. We are in a tough time in our season at the moment. I've been saying for a while, nobody is immune to the dip. Everybody will have a few games where you drop points. Chelsea's has come at a tough time, a difficult time, particularly for us fans. Chelsea being in such an ascendancy, being on such a good run, to go and get 1 point from 9 from Everton, Fulham and then Ipswich. The Chelsea fan base is feeling very, very flat at the moment. So fingers are already starting to be pointed. It takes 1-2 games for this flippant fan base to turn on its head and go, this guy needs to go, this guy needs to go. The amount of people that have said this transfer window, Badiashile, Disasi, both need to go. I mean, I personally don't think you get rid of those two and you're looking at Aaron Anselmino as the backup. Look, as good as he is, he's a kid. He's 18, 19 years old. He is not ready to jump straight into this Chelsea team. We need experience. And is there a better mould of a player right now than a centre-half currently on our books, playing for a rival? He's just scored his third goal of the season and just got another man-of-the-match performance for Crystal Palace. Trevor Chalobah, what more can this guy do to prove to Enzo Maresca he should be in the squad next season? Because we've been talking about, look, the perfect mould of a centre-half is a player with experience, is a player with longevity and experience. They've got that balance around 25, 26, been playing at the top level for 5-6 years, but they've also got 7-8 years on them. If they are a good player, he can play for the next 10 years. Trevor Chalobah, I mean, we're sitting here talking about, I'd love to bring Ronaldo Araujo in. I'd love to bring Alessandro Bastoni, both 25 years old, both at the top of their game. Trevor Chalobah, 26 years old, if I'm not mistaken, been playing for Chelsea for multiple seasons in League One prior to that, Huddersfield as well, Lorient in League One. He's got bags of experience. He's doing it week in, week out at Crystal Palace. He's worth 40, 50 mil, this guy, bare minimum. And he's an academy graduate, so you know the Chelsea fan base are going to get behind him no matter what. Fans love Trev under Thomas Tuchel, under Frank Lampard. That was when he broke through in this Chelsea side. And I've done an episode earlier in this season talking about should we recall Trevor Chalobah in January. I'm firmly on the yes side. That's what my short tonight is going to be. Even with the news of Aaron Anselmino being recalled and joining up with this squad, I fully expect him to be loaned out in January. I do not think he's going to get the game time, even if we do keep him in the squad and we keep him as a backup for the Conference League, for Morecambe in the FA Cup, whatever it is. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes. It's going to take him a month or so to embed into the side as is. And then you've got, 4 months until the season's over. We might as well have left him there for the second half of the Boca season. We might as well loan him out somewhere else, because I do not think he's going to have the impact. As good of a player as he is, I don't think he's going to have the impact that a lot of people suggest he is. And we'll see how this comes out in post, because obviously I'm recording all of this in one go. But I know that the main thing that you guys have said you wanted to see from these shorts or these videos is a little bit more highlights, is a little bit more interactive. So you know what? I'm going to try and put a little highlight clip, a little highlight reel of Aaron Anselmino here. If it doesn't work, apologies. If I get copyright striked, apologies. But we're going to put a little clip here, a little highlight reel, just so you can see what Aaron Anselmino is all about. Hopefully that came out well. New little feature, new little upgrade to the production value of these Loan Watch episodes. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you more highlights when a player scores, when a player puts in a fantastic performance. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you some more of those highlights. And one player that I'm sure there will be a highlight reel out there that I can stick in the corner of this episode. Another player that's been recalled, slightly different reasons than Aaron Anselmino, but Gabriel Slonina, recalled from Barnsley. I think he played 14 games, might have been 15, played 14 games for them in the first half of this season, and he was absolutely flying. I'd argue that was one of the more successful loan moves for Chelsea this season. Unfortunately, I think he's broken his finger. He broke his finger a few weeks ago. He hasn't played since, and it looks like Chelsea are going to bring him back to Cobham to see if we can fix that and see if our medical team can give him a little bit more care and attention than the Barnsley team are. It's a real shame, I think, because Slonina, particularly with and the acquisition of Penders in the summer was quite interesting for me, because Penders, as good as he looks on paper, as good as, everything I've heard about him sounds fantastic, I'm still sold on Slonina, man. I'm a big Slonina fan. I thought Eupen was a very difficult move for him last year. I was a big fan when we signed him, and initially everything that I saw, heard, looked fantastic. Great shot stopper, young, bags of energy. He just looks like he could be a real talent, a real athletic goalkeeper. He just has that kind of embodiment about him, and the way he's developed in the last couple of seasons has been very, very pleasing to watch, very, very pleasant. And Barnsley, I thought, when he came in, I think he got player of the round, a performance of the round, the first game he played in the FA Cup or whatever it was. Might have been the League Cup, I can't remember, but the first couple of games he played, he was unbelievable. Barnsley fans fell in love with him immediately. He makes great diving saves. He's great with the ball at his feet. And I don't think he made too many mistakes. From what I saw anyway, he didn't make too many mistakes. And, I'm not expecting somebody that's playing for Barnsley in League One, League Two, whatever it is, to set the world alight with the ball at his feet. But he wasn't making sloppy passes. He wasn't really leaving himself open at the back. I think Slonina is a fantastic goalkeeper. And it's very, very interesting to think because, like I've said for the longest, the goalkeeper merry-go-round continues to go on. Chelsea do not find a permanent solution for our goalkeeper problem. We need to find a number one, not keep buying number twos to push the number two into the number one spot and breed that healthy competition. We need to buy an Alisson, an Edison, a David Raya, who's now put himself into that category. We're not going about doing that. Instead, we've gone with a similar tactic to the rest of the team in buying young. Listen, I don't think that's the right option for a keeper. I'll be straight up honest, just traditional way of thinking. I think goalkeepers, it's such a confidence-driven position. You're under so much scrutiny. You make one mistake, you're most likely to concede a goal. If anybody else makes a mistake on the pitch, you can get away with it. But keepers, if they make a mistake, more often than not, it ends up in a goal. So you are under a lot more scrutiny. And I think particularly at a club like Chelsea, with the expectation on your head, and the track record of goalkeepers that we've had, you know how this fan base is going to get on a goalkeeper's back very, very quickly if they're not good with the ball at their feet, if they make hospital passes, if they're not particularly good at claiming the ball. We are very, very fickle and we scrutinise these goalkeepers a lot. We scrutinise these players a lot. And if a player comes in, someone like Mike Penders that we've spent 20 odd mil on, and he drops a stinker in his first couple of games, the whole Chelsea fan base is going to turn and say, I never want to see, why did we spend money on this guy? I never want to see him again. And that's a player who's potentially got a massive career ruined in 2 games, ruined in 180 minutes of football. Personally, I just think going experienced, going proven is the way to go with goalkeepers. I think it's fantastic to have young goalkeepers, and if we can, if Slonina can recover and get another loan move for the second half of the season, that would be fantastic because he does deserve it, and I'd love to see him develop more this year. But I do just kind of worry, particularly, like I said, with the acquisition of Penders. What's Slonina thinking? Must be tough. Must be tough. I do not envy. I would never want to be a goalkeeper. Who would want to be a goalkeeper? But yeah, I'll see if we can get like I said, some highlights in there. But yeah, I think we'll wrap this one up. We'll keep this one fairly brief because this is kind of just a brief special, slightly delayed Loan Watch episode. We will also be dropping an episode of Chopping It Up with Charms tonight. Double episode for you guys on a Friday, and then we've got Chelsea tomorrow against Crystal Palace. But yeah, obviously next week we will be going a little bit more in depth into the other loanees. Obviously the Strasbourg lot, Teddy Sharman low, Castle Dine getting more appearances over the weekend. As we said, Trevor Chalobah getting another goal and another man of the match performance. Should Trevor Chalobah be recalled to Chelsea? That's the main question that I want answered in the comments of this video. Should Chelsea recall Trevor Chalobah instead of going out and buying another centre-back this January? But let me know in the comments. I mean, hopefully the highlight reels work. Let me know what you guys thought of that. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Follow @2Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. And like I said, we will be back tomorrow for Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. We'll bring you a live match preview and a live match reaction. As always, love guys, stay safe, and to everyone that supported us in 2025 and continues to do so, every single person that's watched a second of our video, liked a single video, appreciate you, man. Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a blessed Christmas. Happy New Year. Bigger and better in 2025. Up the Chelsea. Let's go.